Hello everyone. The topic for today's session is elements and techniques of video production. By the end of this session, we should be able to know about video production process, elements of video production, and stages of video production. There are three main processes to putting a video together. As how what you can see on the screen, stages involved in video production process: pre-production, production, and post-production. So the stages and elements that are incorporated to make a movie or the message that your video needs to be conveyed. So these elements are the techniques which involved in this video production process. The same can be applicable to the film production process also. So we'll go by the stages: pre-production, production, and post-production, and let me see in detail about the elements which comes under different stages of the production process. Stage 1, pre-production, that is planning stage. Pre-production is when the ideas are brought together into a plan, what they call it as cohesive plan, and the goals and objectives of your video to be established. Think about your target audience, your budget, and the message your video needs to convey. So I am repeating the thing that you have to keep it in mind in this pre-production stages. Think about your target audience, your budget, and the message your video needs to convey. So in this pre-production stage, there are steps to be followed to develop it, the script or the screenplay. Let me see what are the elements that comes under this pre-production stage, and we'll see it in detail. As shown on the screen: concept, treatment, screenplay or script writing, budgeting. Concept refers to the way in which the message is conveyed to the audience, just idea generation and development of the concept. For example, there are different modes of expressing, conveying your message, like narration, commercial, dramatic, documentary, to put it in a binary, fiction and non-fiction ways of presentation. So there can be the combination of these concepts in one video production. Next, the treatment is a descriptive account of what takes place in the video. Audio and visuals described together. How you're going to treat audio and video to tell your story. That's why this treatment is a descriptive account of what takes place in the video, audio, and visuals described together. Pre-production, the planning stage. As I said, how do you develop a story into a script or screenplay? Let's say you have an idea for a story. You have an idea for a story. In pre-production stage, there are steps that one has to follow to develop this idea into a script or screenplay. Shall we start with an idea to develop into a script or screenplay? What are those steps involved? Before going to that, when you come up with a story idea, you'd be writing uh, not at the same day or at the same sitting. Okay, the idea comes to your mind here and there, then and often. So, whenever the concept of idea that comes to your mind to represent the story, just take a notes of it. That means take a hints of it, write down into small pieces of information. Okay, and don't assume that you can develop the entire story inside your head. It is not possible also. So, and after developing the entire story on the head and at the one go, you can't sit and write the screenplay immediately. So writing everything that you have in your mind is not possible. Take a notes and piece of information. So when you come, whatever comes to your mind, you may forget them tomorrow. If you come, whatever comes to your mind today, you may forget them tomorrow. So take notes, put it in a Word document, or write it, scribble it in a note or papers that you can preserve it. So you may have a lot of different ideas. Okay, but here comes the next question: where to begin and where to end? Where to begin the story and where to end the story? So you should have a proper clarity where to end your story. So what we call technically as the destination. Only when you're clear about your story's destination, you should start writing the screenplay. If you think I don't know the ending right now, but I want to start, let me start writing and see where it goes. It is how it looks, no? You feel like you're traveling with a blindfolded without any direction, and you may stuck up in various dead ends. Be sure about exactly where the story is being taken to. Think of like a train. It needs to have a path and arrive at a destination. Until a proper beginning, middle, and end gets formed inside your mind, keep writing as many rough notes as you can. So, that is the preliminary and the foremost basic starting point for any idea to become a story: beginning, middle, and end. Once that comes to your mind, then you go with it. Only when you are clear about the story's destination, start writing the screenplay. If you're fine, once these basic points, beginning, middle, and end, are clear, then you can go to the next section, which is in the pre production stage. Step 1: log line. It is an extremely a short story brief told in 2 or 3 sentences. A logline is a brief summary of a television program or a film or a book that states the central conflict of the story, providing both the synopsis, story's plot, and emotional hook. So, there are three important things mentioned in logline: protagonist, problem, and antagonist. Not the name of the protagonist. You have to describe the character. Protagonist is character's description, not the name of the protagonist. A man such as this, having these qualities, a woman who is like this. So write the main character's description with adjectives. The adjectives will help you to give the character's description in terms of protagonist. Next is the major problem that they are facing. This is called the conflict, or where are they going to travel, what are they traveling towards, what are they trying to get in the story, what are they trying to reach in the story, what is their goal. That is important point, the problem or the conflict. Then who is creating this problem? Who is the antagonist? So trying to stop the protagonist from achieving this goal. So these are the three elements in a log line. Once you write this down, you will have a clear cut idea on what your story is actually about. When the day comes when you pitch the story to a producer and actor, no, if you start the narration with the two short lines, it will create interest and curiosity. So the log line is just a short story brief told in 2 or 3 lines, which should consist of this protagonist, that is character's description and the problem or conflict what they're going to face, and antagonist trying to stop the protagonist by achieving that goal or the problem. The step 2 in the pre-production stage is synopsis. Many of you may know this already. A story's gist. It's a short summary of the story, about a page or 1.5 pages. Don't write more than that. So what you write in this short summary, is just an insight into who is protagonist, who are the important supporting characters. You can see on the right side of the screen who are the important supporting characters, who is the antagonist. Introduce the characters first. Where does the story happen? Which place does it happen, which timeline, which period, the context, everything should be mentioned in this synopsis. Generally, while writing a synopsis, don't reveal the ending. So, don't reveal the ending while writing the synopsis, because that will make the readers or whoever the listeners of your story before production, which creates interest, which show a glimpse of the beginning and middle but not reveal the ending. It should make the reader want to read the whole script, make them interested enough to listen to your narration. This is synopsis. It's a short summary of story of a page, 1 page or to 1.5 page, consist of for a beginning, middle, and not reveal the ending. With this, who are the characters, who is the antagonist, introduce the characters, where does the story happen, in which context, which area, which place, which timeline, which period. So the third step is treatment. Treatment is a more detailed write-up for the one-line order. It's a detailed write-up of the one-line order. So you write in paragraphs. If you feel like you write in paragraphs your story and you want to write the screenplay directly, maybe you can do it, because it's a straight away move to write the screenplay from the paragraphs of the story. But nowadays, many producers did in production houses, they don't want to read the whole script, which is about 150 pages or 200 pages. They prefer reading a treatment. You may have to submit it. So it's better to write it for a treatment. Is a detailed write-up of the one-line order. You can order the scenes. Later you can reorder the scenes. You can spot the scenes wherever you want and make changes accordingly. This treatment will help you. So screenplay are we there? Started from a idea, having a beginning, middle, and end, making a notes of events and notes of ideas that came to our mind. Based on that, we have created our protagonist, problem, and antagonist to fix a log line, which helps to develop your story, move further to write your synopsis, short summary of the story, and towards the treatment, detailed write-up of the one-line order. So these are the stages in script development. So what skills we require? Think, write, write a lot, and write well. So moving to the next element in a pre-production stage is, one should know about the storyboarding and the purpose and uses of storyboarding in filmmaking or video production process. Storyboard is a pictorial representation of a shot or scene. So it's a visual document whereby the story is drawn out and categorized by shots and scenes, where you can see in the screen it includes camera, actions, and sounds. So here comes the communication of your own idea or your own story, making your script, conveying it to a second person, that is the technical person, going to be the cinematographer or going to be the editor. So here we need a picture visual document of your whole story, where your own visual conceiving on your mind has to be transferred, communicated to the cinematographer or the camera person. So that is the importance of storyboarding, which can be used as a instructional sheet or instructional guide during production. Next, in pre-production stages, budgeting. Obviously, this has to be included in the pre-production stage, because without money or without a cost involved, we can't do any production work. That everyone has to agree. So, importance of planning and budgeting, basic steps to schedule your and budget your video production. Okay, planning and budgeting for television production. After creating a great story, time and money are the ultimate components that contribute to getting your project done, project made. So scheduling and budgeting are the essential skills you can understand and learn. So money, budgeting, planning, scheduling are the management concepts, managerial skills that one has to be taken essentially to understand and learn to make an effective and efficient video production. Basic steps to schedule and budget your production. Whether you are a writer or a producer or otherwise, it's good to understand it's good to understand the filmmaking process. Nobody expects to be an expert in this management, but still a creator should know these areas. It should help your team to does what sort of course of job that they are doing. Many, you see, whether you are a writer producing your own script or an actor producing out your own talents, it will help you to understand the producing process. So at the end of the day, no matter the title, the idea is that great planning and backup planning. So an overview of production management. The production management, again, it's an essential managerial skill that one should know in a video production process. Is the management process, production management, the process of planning and managing all of the various elements needed to successfully create a film or a screenplay. Managing the various elements needed to successfully creating a film. So the steps broadly cover breaking down a script breakdown. Okay, then how to break down a script, how to schedule your script using your breakdown, how to budget your script, scheduling and the budgeting resources. So every episode television episode, movie or video is created from some combination of resources. So it's a combination of resources, places, people, and equipment. So with the purpose of capturing the visuals, footages, and sounds to be edited to tell a story. So when will that scene be shot? With the resources, scheduling and budgeting of the business. No, it is side of a business for a reason. So where will be shot and by whom? What role that does that actor play? Where will we rent these properties? So this is the breaking down a script and budgeting to manage the entire production to efficiently create a successful film. So first read the script, which helps you for this production planning. Break down the script, create a schedule from the breakdown, build a budget from your schedule and breakdown. So this is the easy set. So the image shown on the screen shows you some breakdown sheets. This will help you to break down the script, creating schedule from the breakdown and building a budget for the schedule and breakdown. So identifying the resources, So this is an example for um, this is an example for a background sheet. It's not clear. Many sheet templates are available online. So identify the each category. Read your script, identify each resource and a scene at a time. What are the elements required or what are the resources required for the particular scene? Put into category, transfer information onto a breakdown sheet which is mentioned over here manually or using a scheduling program. Many script breakdown softwares are available in the market now. Just transfer this information into this breakdown sheet manually or using softwares and then schedule your project. Scheduling has three steps. Transfer this information into a schedule, group similar categories or similar type of resources you're going to use. Arrange for maximum efficiency for your production. So budgeting also has, after scheduling, how to go for budgeting. Budget is also has three steps: identify and obtain prices, build a robust budget, negotiate and lock in details. So although you may have come up with a truly good and great idea for a production, one you certainly will make you famous. Unless you can raise the money to get it produced, it simply remains as the great idea. So we call this process as costing out production. Traditionally, we think of expenses falling into two broad areas: above the line and below the line. So the line blurs at times. Above the line, below the line, expenses generally relate to the performing and producing elements, talent, script, music, and others. So below the line elements are refers to two broad areas: the physical elements, that is the sets, properties, wardrobes. This comes under this below the line property. So the technical personnel, stage manager, engineering personnel, video recording operators, audio operators, and general labor comes under the below the line budget. So above the line and below the line budget category has to be clearly followed. Sometimes this line also blurs physical elements and talents. Next is the production stage. So the elements that comes under this production stage are filming, that is cinematography, lighting and directing. So it is unavoidable some terminologies. If you are serious, you have got to know about some jargon. Fortunately, it is not too complicated. This contains a few essential terms to get you started. That is unavoidable terminologies which involved in this cinematography and editing and the technical. So that is the reason this not only the elements of video production, and also one should be knowing the techniques involved in video production. So this comes under the production stage. In this production stage, to put it simple, execution of the script, that is the plan what we made in this pre-production stage. As I said, certain terminologies that one should know: shot, framing, composition, transition. So all videos are made up of shots. A shot is basically from when you press record to when you stop recording. The moment the message captured between the recording button on and off, which is basically from when you press record to when you stop recording. So like the individual photos which make up an album, the shots are put together to make a video. Framing and composition: the frame is the picture you see in the viewfinder or on a monitor. Composition refers to the layout of everything in a picture frame. So what the subject is, where it is in the frame, which way it is facing, looking, the background, the foreground, the lighting, the details of all these will give you the composition, the layout of everything which in a picture frame. Next, the transition. Shots are linked. Shots are linked in a sequence to tell a story. The way as for transition goes, shots are linked in a sequences to tell a larger story. So the way in which any two shots are joined together is called transition. As I said earlier, the basic jargons and terminologies one should understand while doing, not only for the cinematography, even those who are involved in the video production process. Starts from shot, framing, composition and transition. It's quite simple jargon to learn. Then moving to framing, the shot types, which is also involved in this cinematography element. So there is a convention in the video, film and television industry which assigns names and guidelines to common types of shots, framing and picture composition. So the list below describes the most used common shot types. Shots are all about composition. Rather than pointing the camera at the subject, you need to compose an image. It is not like taking a camera, pointing it and just shooting, point and shoot. This is something you have to compose an image. Where comes the composition? So, as mentioned previously, framing is the process of creating composition. And here coming to grammar of film and television. Television and film use certain common conventions which we often refer to as the grammar of this audiovisual media. So conventions are not rules. Expert practitioners break them for deliberate effect. So the convention, the list included here are the most important conventions that used in the industry by various cinematographers to convey the meaning. So camera techniques, here comes the camera techniques. You can see the most important shots that they are mentioned. Okay, long shot, establishing shot, medium shot and close-up shot. It's a broad shot category. Shot is just the distance between the camera and the subject. Just the distance determines the type of shot. Basically, long shot, medium shot and close-up shot are the broad classification of shots. Long shot, shot which shows all or most of a fairly large subject. For example, a person, usually much of the surroundings. Under the long shot, there are two types of long shot: extreme long shot and medium long shot. So in this type of extreme long shot, in this furthest distance from the subject, which also known as the establishing shot. Okay, opening shot or a sequence for a film or an exterior view or giving a general view about where the incident or where the story is happening. So the medium long shot is the standing anchor. In case of a standing anchor, the lower frame lights cut off his feet and ankles. So some documentaries with social themes, favor keeping people in the longer shots, keeping social circumstances rather than the individual as the focus of attention. For this documentary, the social themes, their concentration is to focus the attention of the social circumstances, not the individual. So in such types they will go for this medium long shot. Next shot type is the medium shot. In such a shot, the subject or an actor is setting roughly equal areas in the frame. So in case of the standing actor, lower frame passes through the waist. There is space for hand gestures in the shot, medium shots. Under this medium close-up and mid shot also comes under this medium shots, where you can see the shot how it is categorized. The image is given to denote different types of shots. The next category is the close-up shot, a picture which shows a fairly a small part of the scene, such as a character's face, a great detail about any object. So it abstracts the subject from a context. Medium close-up and big close-up. The next, after the shot types, we move on. What we'll see, what is camera angles. It's an angle of shot, the direction and height from which the camera takes the scene is the angle of shot. So there are three main angles: eye level angle, high angle and low angle. So the convention is that in factual programs, subject should be shot from eye level only. In a high angle, the camera looks down at a character, making the viewer feel more powerful than him in a high angle shot. A low angle shot places camera below the character, exaggerating his or her importance. An overhead shot is one made from position directly. You can see some of the examples of different angles: eye level and high angle and low angle shots. In continuation to the production stage, after filming, that is cinematography, the important element that one has to understand is the lighting. As I said before, it involves certain terminologies and jargons where you should be knowing about it. Next is lighting in the production stage. The terminologies that involves in the lighting of video production process are listed in the screen. Let me explain one by one. The first one is the ambient lighting. The light which is already present in a scene before any additional lighting is added. That's called as ambient light. So the light usually refers to natural light, either outdoors or coming through windows. It can also mean artificial light such as normal room lights. So ambient light can be the photographer's friend and our enemy. Clearly, ambient light is important in photography and video work, because as most shots rely largely or wholly on ambient lighting, whichever the shots that has been taken in outdoor. Unfortunately, ambient light can be real nuisance if it conflicts with what the photographer wants to achieve. For example, ambient light may be the wrong color temperature, intensity or direction for the desired effect. So that is for a photographer, he really wants to achieve certain shades or certain effects. This ambient light become a real nuisance in that case. But mostly this ambient light is a friend for any photographer or a videographer to go for an outdoor shooting. The next is the incident light. Light seen directly from a light source, lamp, sun, etc. Directly from the natural source, a light source, for example, lamp, sun. Reflected light, light seen after having bounced off a surface. Okay, the light source comes from a natural source or any other source, bounced from a surface is known as the reflected light. And one more terminology, color temperature, which is a standard of measuring the characteristics of light. which is measured in kelvins. For more information, you can see the color temperature chart. A color temperature is a standard method of describing colors for use in a range of situations and with different equipment. Color temperatures are normally expressed in units called kelvins. Note that the term degree Kelvin is often used but is not technically correct. Kelvins. Contrast ratio in the lighting terminology. Contrast ratio. The difference in brightness between the brightest white and the darkest black within an image is known as the contrast ratio. I am repeating, the difference between in brightness between the brightest white and the darkest black within an image is known as the contrast ratio. Is a measurement of the difference. Okay, a ratio of 300 is to 1 means the brightest point in the image is 300 times as bright as the darkest point. A higher contrast ratio therefore means a larger difference in brightness. Then key light, the main light on the subject providing most of the illumination and contrast is called as the key light. The next is the fill light, a light placed to the side of the subject to fill out the shadows and balance the key light. I am repeating, the key light. The main light on the subject providing most of the illumination and contrast is called the key light, and fill light is the light placed to the side of the subject to fill out the shadows and balance the key light. Next is the backlight, a light placed at the rear of a subject to light from behind. Hard light, light directly from a source such as the sun traveling undisturbed onto the subject, being it direct exposure to the sun or natural any light direction from the source is hard light. Soft light, just light which appears to be wrapped around the subject to some degree, produce a less shadow or softer shadows. And then spotlight, a controlled narrowly focused beam of light is spotlight. The floodlight, a broad beam of light, less directional and intense than a spot, as like flooding the light, spotting and flooding, hard light and soft light, and key light, fill light and backlight. Next, with this lighting, we'll see the basic lighting technique, the three standard 3-point lighting technique. The 3-point lighting technique is a standard method used in visual media production such as video, film and even still photography. It is a simple but a versatile system which forms the basis of most lighting. Once you understand this 3-point lighting, you are well on the way to understanding all lighting. As I said in the previous slide, what is key light and what is fill light and what is backlight. You can see now on the screen how this lights have been placed. So the technique uses 3 lights. Naturally, you will need these 3 lights to utilize the technique fully, but the principles are still important even if you only choose 1 or 2 lights. So if you have only one light, it becomes the key. If you have 2 light, one is the key and the other is either the fill or the backlight. So the main light, it is usually the strongest and has the most influence on the look of the scene. That is the key light. Key light, its name itself implies the main light for production. It is placed to one side of the camera or subject so that the other side will lit and the other side has some shadow. Fill light, that is the secondary light which is placed on the opposite side of the key light. It is used to fill the shadows created by the key light. To achieve this, you could move the light further away. You might also want to set the fill light more than a flood than the key to avoid the balance the shadows caused by the key light. And the backlight, which is placed behind the subject, light from the rear rather than providing direct lighting. So it's the purpose to avoid the subtle highlights. So this helps separate from the subject background from a 3-dimensional look. That is the purpose of backlight. This is the standard 3-point lighting technique in lighting. Next, moving to the post-production stage. Before going to the post-production stage, let me summarize the production stage. The production, which is the executing of your script or the plan, which involves filming, that is cinematography, lighting. So we came across certain terminologies in this filming and lighting terminologies, different shots, framing, what is composition, what is transition. Now it involves in a sequence, and the lighting, different terminologies used in the lighting process of video production, and what is it, and we finally we are in the standard 3-point lighting technique. This gives you a brief understanding about the light production process that happens in any video production. Next, we'll move to the post production stage, that is the final stage of video production process, which consists of the following elements: capturing, editing, audio or sound effects, which we call it as effects. So in post production stage, the final product preparation usually takes place. So let me start with the video editing basics. As I said, the process involved in the post-production stage is the editing, capturing, editing, which requires a non-linear editing setup. And now we'll have a quick recall where we started this video production process, with an idea, with a concept developed, to a story, with a proper write-up of a log line, and the treatment, synopsis, story, having a beginning, middle and end structure, to converting into a script and a screenplay, where comes next the important point of budgeting, scheduling, production management, that requires to execute the plan in the pre-production stage. Then simply in the production stage, execution of the script. So that is the reason the pre-production is most important, that is planning is most important for any project. Once the planning script is pakka and perfect, it is ready, we can execute it in the production stage with the help of cinematography and lighting. Then once that is ready, the video or the footage is ready. Now we are in the stage of post production, where the final product preparation takes place, which involve these elements of capturing, editing in a non-linear editing setup. We'll see what is a video capturing process. A video capture is the process of transferring the video you recorded from a video camera or any other video recording device to your computer. So what I am telling today is about video capturing is of digital. Those days it is totally different. Before the computers used for editing, they used to do it in the deck or tape to tape editing, that we will come later. We'll see in the video capturing process, we refer to the computers, editing using computers. So a video capture is the process of transferring the video you recorded from a video camera or any other video recording device to your computer. As you can see, some capturing cords, capturing cables, which involves. So this makes you scary. So as I said, now the terminologies and jargons, and seeing this picture. Next, we'll see the different capturing cable. This capturing process is done by attaching the video camera to your computer with a special USB cable. So the use of a USB cable is not the only method of capturing the video from the device. Other digital video devices can capture video and transfer them to your computer by a standard serial or parallel cable. But most of the cases now, the handheld cameras or even the handy cams can use this USB to transfer the video. As I said, the special port or special serial camera, as you can see from the image, it's 1394. recalled as FireWire. So FireWire video is dedicated exclusively to capture videos. The transfer speed without loss of any video data, we used to go to this FireWire 1394 cable, and this is a traditional and main method. Nowadays even USBs are done with the help of the hard disk or handy cameras. What we call it as capturing and digitizing with this capture. So capturing and digitizing means to bring the footage. Footage means whatever you recorded on your camera. What we call it is the different terms like rushes footage or raw footage or raw uh, sequence that you have taken. So to bring footage that is not already in the form of a file or set of files, which is into your Premiere Pro project. What I am mentioning here is a Premiere Pro is an editing, non-linear editing application. So you can capture it or digitize it depending on the type of source material. For example, capturing the digital video from a live camera or from a tape you record it or from the source to the hard disk. So Premiere Pro editing, non-linear editing application captures video through a digital port such as the FireWire, as I mentioned now 1394 is the port number installed on the computer, and you digitize the analog video. Those days they have taken it, recorded it in a tape. So you digitize the analog video from a live analog camera source to a analog tape device using a converter. That's it. Premiere Pro saves this into a footages to disk as files and imports the files into your projects as clips. So shots while taking a camera. Once it is recorded, then it becomes a footage. Then it comes to editing table, we name it as clips. The content is the same, but in different stages the name varies. Okay, while writing and shooting it is a shot. After recorded it is a footage. Once it comes to the post production or editing table, the same is known as the clips. In project we used to them as clips. Here these are the some of the ports and some of the cable jacks available to capture the video. So this is the motherboard PCI slot to capture video, and USB ports are also used to capture the video. So this is the USB port is the easiest way to capture video. TV to computer is a very fast, the 480 Mbps. USB 3 is supported with up to 5 gigabits transfer rate. iLink and IEEE 1394, that is a FireWire cable which helps to transfer video in the 400 megabits per second. So these are the capturing devices. Now no need to worry, we are taking it at the camera, we will be copying it the memory card or with the USB port. An important factor that has to be noted while capturing this file is the file size limit. Premiere Pro, again the non-linear editing application, does not limit the size of files. However, the capture card or the operating system or hard disk can set such a limit. FAT32 heard about two types of formatting the hard disk. One is FAT32, another one is NTFS, and no need to get scared about it and worry about it. This is for your information. FAT32 formatting limits each file to 4 GB. It won't allow to copy or paste the file which is more than 4 GB of space, so about 18 minutes of DV footage. NTFS formatting does not limit file size. It is best to use NTFS formatted disk. For example, if you are copying and pasting a file in one place to other place, or one machine to other machine, or one source device to the computer, if the file size is above 4 GB and if your system hard disk is in the format of FAT32, it won't copy single file size. I am telling a single file if it is above 4 GB or above 18 minutes of DV footage if it is in a FAT32. So that is the formatting thing for your information, this file size limit. Okay, are you now? I hope you are all clear with the capturing, digitizing, importing the files, what we call it as footages, into the machines as in the name of clips. Now next our job is to edit it. We'll see what is editing. Video editing is the process of manipulating and rearranging the video shots to create a new work. Why? Why we have to do this? Think of your pre-production stage. You had something on your mind as a story, no, to convey a message to your target audience. That conveying message has to be done with the help of video editing process, arranging and rearranging of video shots to create a new work. So this editing is a part of the post production process. Let me explain the editing process. Some used to say it helps to remove unwanted footage, choose the best footage, it helps to create a flow, and it will helps to add effects, graphics, music, etc., and it helps to alter the style, pace or mood of the video. So editing helps to do this. And as I said, no, earlier we'll see the different types of editing. Now starting from the conventional mode, no, film splicing. Those days the latest video is captured using film, it's film editing, we call it as film splicing. Then the tape to tape editing, linear editing, it was the original method in an edit electronic video tapes, so where they used to edit using tape in the decks, deck to deck editing, which we call it as simple linear editing. So and later, after the invention of computers and using computers use it for editing, it becomes digital or non-linear editing. So in this method, video footage is recorded onto a computer hard drive and then edited using specialized software. As we saw in the lighting terminologies and cinematography terminology, here video editing also has some terminologies one should understand who are involved in the video production or filmmaking process. Capture device, a hardware or firmware device used to convert the analog video into a digital video. Compressors, codecs, a software or firmware which aims to compress and make the file size smaller, compactable to the certain players or to read it back. So editing, the process of rearranging, adding or removing sections of video clips, so creating transition between the clips using the effects available. So editing is also a terminology you should understand. Rearranging, adding and or removing sections of video clips to and also create transitions. Encoding, the process, again it involves the compression and codec. Layering, which you will be knowing once you get into the editing machine, the importance and purpose of layering, which adding multiple layers of superimposed video. Linear editing, as I said, which is the old conventional method also known as tape to tape editing, a method of editing in which footage is copied from one tape to another in the required order. Non-linear editing, an editing method which uses computer software to edit the footage. And the post production, the whole process is known as the post production. And non-linear editing setup, as what you can see in the screen, is are the different editing applications workspace, how it works. But these are all the leading professional applications that are available in the market, but it looks it there are similarities in the different editing applications also. Okay, the home based editor, this is an example. And to put it simple, the video editing, the general purpose of editing software, you see, it just capture, it edit and it gives you output. So although the terminology may vary, as I said, no, I showed you three market leading professional editing applications. The terminology may vary in the non-linear video editing concept of project. Editing project is a collection of elements to create the finished products, which includes video clips, audio clips, titles and graphics. So what one has to look for in a editing software: make sure it is compatible with your hardware and operating system. Check the capture, import and export options. Make sure it can handle the formats and resolution you want to use. Does the software allow for layering and effects? What other advanced features does it have? So these are the things you have to look for in an editing software. Is there any other software bundled with the package? Example, audio editing, whether giving any additional feature for audio editing also. Is it compatible with other common softwares like for Adobe Photoshop, Adobe InDesign? So compatible with the other even image editing softwares. So capturing video for non-linear editing, just connecting the computer, it will and capture the footages to the camera. It's just nowadays like copying. So this is an editing workspace which is very important. Any editing application has three basic work areas which are common to most editing software: the project window, monitor window, the timeline. As I said, no, the marketing, the three leading professional editing applications in the market, it has a common work areas, what we call it as workspace, which contains the project window, the monitor window, the timeline. In the top left of the screenshot, no, it contains the project window, and this some more I'll show you. So the top left, no, this is the project window, okay, which contains all the materials, all the elements that requires for editing has to be brought in here, which technically we call it as bin in the project window. The right side is the monitor window where you can monitor what is happening, what is the file that you are viewing, and the right side of the monitor window, which is the preview, that is going to be the output program, and below this is the timeline which shows the time sequence of line, how it is arranged, which one first and which one comes next. So this is the common setup for any video editing, non-linear editing application: the project window, monitor window, and timeline. This is the basic editing workspace for any non-linear editing. Once this editing is done, we have to outputting the video. So you have finished your masterpiece and your timeline all finalized, you are ready to output the video file. The two most common ways to do this is encode mp3, mp4 and mp2 is mentioned here. Now after you can encode it to the any format or any type you want. So output the video through your computer's video card or on the hard disk itself. So this is the basic system of video editing: capturing, editing, and outputting. Capturing the footage, editing it on an application with the project window, monitor window, and timeline, and finally taking it the output. This involves the post production stage, and we have seen a bit of introduction to the video editing. I hope we have covered the video production process with the three stages and the element that falls under each and every stage. I am repeating: the pre-production, production, and post-production are the three stages which involved in the video production process, and the element starts from the concept, idea generation, and the development of the concept to the treatment, descriptive account of the audio and visual, how describe your story, and converting it to the script, which is going to be the producer executing way, and also the budgeting in the pre-production. As obviously without money or without cost, no business or no thing involved, because since it is a business. And then with the production, filming, lighting, and directing, different terminologies used in this filming and lighting, and the basic terminology we have seen. And in the post-production process, how the editing works and what is capturing, what are the different hardwares and softwares available at the basic level to do this video editing, we have seen it. And audio, how it is used. Hope this is a preliminary, this will help you to understand the preliminary process of video production. And that's it, this is the end, this is for a beginning. Let's start the project. Are you people ready? Yeah, thank you.